Today we are going to do 8.2 perimeters of composite figures. A composite figure is a figure that's made up of familiar shapes or shapes that we already know. So they're going to be made up of triangles, squares, rectangles, semicircles, and any other two-dimensional figure which we are familiar with. So we're going to be finding the perimeter of these figures. Now, perimeter, again, is the distance around the object. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding up all of the sides around to get the perimeter. Now, for these, what you're going to notice is we're going to be missing some of the measurements. And in this figure here, we do not have the length of this line or the length of this line. And to figure out what those lengths are, because we need them to find the perimeter, we're going to use something called logic. Logic is using past mathematical definitions that'll give us these lengths. And in the cases of these figures, we're going to be using the idea that opposite sides of rectangles are equal. So we'll start with this line here. Think of this as a giant rectangle. We know that this side is 15, so anything that is parallel to it has to add up to be 15. So this 8 plus this line has to equal 15. Well, 15 minus 8 is 7, so we can conclude logically that this is 7 centimeters. For this line here, we're going to do the same thing. We know that this side is 8 of the rectangle, so anything on the opposite side of it also has to add up to 8, so 5 plus this line has to equal 8. That means that logically this has to be 3 centimeters. And to find the perimeter, we're going to add up the distance all the way around the object. So P equals 8 plus 8 plus 15 plus 5 plus 7 plus 3. And we're going to add them up, and you're going to get 46 centimeters. And it is a linear unit, so there's no exponents on it, just regular units, because you are adding up lengths of sides. So that is the answer to number 1. Number 2, here we are missing 4. We're missing this side over here, and these 3 in here. Let's do this one first. Again, logically, we know that opposite sides of rectangles are equal, so that if this is 7, that means that this side has to be also 7 inches. These 4 are a little bit tougher. And first thing I notice is we have these tick marks inside, which means that all of them are going to be equal. Again, we're going to use opposite sides of rectangles, so we can't use this to figure it out because there's no other partial side to help us, so we're going to use this one. And we know that this side is 10, so this opposite side has to equal 10. So this is 3, and this is 3, and this missing spot corresponds with this one. So 10 minus 3 tells us this is 4. And because of the tick marks, then we know now that all of these are also 4. All right, perimeter equals 3 plus 7 plus 10 plus 7 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. When you have a lot of numbers, one thing I recommend that you do is you count up the sides and then count up the numbers that you have to make sure that they match. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. I didn't miss anything, and I would do that before I actually added them to make sure that I get it right. And put that in my calculator, and I'm going to get 42 inches. And that's the correct answer. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is different because you see number 3, we've got these curved sides, so these are parts of a circle. But the first one I'm going to find is I'm going to find this straight side, because straight sides are the easiest in using properties of our rectangles. These are opposite of each other, so this one is 22. And now I'm going to find the curved edge. So I know that this is a semicircle, so I'm going to use the formula for a semicircle to figure it out. And I have this line here. This line here is dotted because it's not part of the shape. It's only there to provide us with a measurement. 16 in a semicircle going all the way across is the diameter. Again, you have to know that for the formula. So I'm going to find this curved edge. So we're going to do C equals. Diameter was given, so it'll be pi d. And divide that by 2 because it is half. It's a semicircle. We're going to plug in our numbers. Pi is 3.14. The diameter is 16, and we'll divide that by 2. And we're going to plug that into our calculators, and we're going to get 25.12 meters. So that means that this curved edge is 25.12. We have a second curved edge, but this curved edge is exactly the same as this one, so you don't have to redo the math. Just going to write it over here. At this side is 25.12 also. And now we can do our perimeter. Perimeter equals 22 plus 2512 plus 22 plus 2512. Notice I'm not adding the 16s because the 16s are not along the outside or around the object. And I'm going to add them together in my calculator, and I'm going to get the perimeter is 94.24 meters. All right, number 4. Number 4, we have a rectangle and a semicircle, but again, we want the distance around. So although this line here is solid, it's not on the outside of the object, so it's not going to be part of the perimeter. I'm going to put an X there. We need it for something else, but it's not part of the perimeter. And the first line I'm going to find is this one up here, and we now know this is 15. Again, properties of a rectangle. And we have to find this curved side, or this part of the semicircle. The reason that this line is here because it's going to provide us with the length of the diameter. And again, we use that logic to figure out that the diameter here is going to be 12. Okay. All right, so let's find this curved edge. C equals pi d divided by 2. 3.14 times 12 divided by 2. C is going to equal 18.84. And again, I'm going to write that over here. And now I can find my perimeter by adding up the sides. P equals 15 plus 18.84 plus 15 plus 12. Again, that's this 12. This 12 is not a part of it. And when I add that up, I am going to get 60.84 feet. Okay, number 5 is a little bit harder because number 5 has these 3 semicircles and they're all different sizes, so we'll have to do 3 different formulas to get those lengths. Again, these lines here in the middle are there to provide measurements. They are not part of the perimeter. I'm going to put X's on them so we know not to add them later. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use logic and figure out the straight sides. Those are the easy ones. So if this side is 3, that means that this side is 3. This side is the culmination of these measurements together. So 2 plus 4 plus 6 means that this side is worth 12. And now I'm going to go ahead and find my curved size. I'm going to have to do 3 different formulas again because there are 3 different sizes. So I'm going to kind of number them to make my life a little easier. So for the first one, I'm going to do C equals pi d. Again, I'm going to divide that by 2 because it's a half circle. Pi is 3.14. The diameter of that one is 2, and divide that by 2. And I'm going to get 3.14, so that's this side. I'm going to do the second one. C equals pi d divided by 2. C equals 3.14. Oh, let me fix that. I wrote C twice. Let's try this again. C equals 3.14 times the diameter of this one is 4. And divide that by 2. Put that in my calculator. I get 6.28. And that's this one. And then for the third one, C equals pi d divided by 2. 3.14. The diameter of that one is 6. Divide that by 2. And I get 9.42. Now I can add up my sides. P equals 3 plus 12 plus 3 plus 3.14 plus 6.28 plus 9.42. And again, I'm not adding these in the middle because they're not part of the outside or around the object. And when I add them together, I am going to get 36.84 millimeters. Okay, we are going to skip number 6 and go to number 7. So word problem says, how much would it cost to enclose the area if fencing costs $35 per yard? Again, we want to look for these keywords that tell us what to do, and the word enclose means to go around. So that would be the word that indicates perimeter. And I see a disconnect here because in the problem, all these measurements are in feet, but the problem says yards. So when that happens, the first thing you have to do is you have to convert all the feet into yards, and hopefully you remember the magic number between feet and yards is 3. So we're going to divide all these numbers by 3. All right, so I did that for you here. I divided them all by 3. So now we want to add them up. P equals 25 plus 50 plus 15 plus 120 plus 15 plus 50 plus 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides. And P equals 300 yards. But that doesn't answer the question. We want to know how much it costs. So to find if it's $35 per yard, we're going to take the number of yards, and we are going to multiply it by the cost. And we're going to put that into our calculators, and we find out to enclose this cool rocket ship looking yard, it's going to cost us $10,500. All right, that's it for today. We'll pick up tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.